Hello everybody and welcome to my new SQL Server Quickie. In today's Quickie I want to talk about how you can improve I/O performance by using multiple files in a file group. A file group in SQL Server is only a logical container that can contain multiple files. If you put multiple files into a file group, SQL Server uses a so-called round-robin allocation algorithm in the background, which can improve the I/O performance when you put the individual files in the file group on different physical disks. Let's now switch over to the flip chart where I want to describe the round-robin allocation algorithm to you, and afterwards I will show you a simple demonstration of that behavior in SQL Server Management Studio. In this flip chart demo I want to show you how the round-robin allocation algorithm works within SQL Server that is used when you have multiple files within a file group. So I've illustrated here one file group, two data files, every data file 100 megabytes. What SQL Server is doing is the following. When we are allocating some space, for example when you're inserting data into a table, SQL Server makes the first allocation in the first file, second allocation in the second file, third allocation in the first one, fourth one in the second one, fifth one, sixth one, and so on and so on. Every allocation is one extent of 64 kilobytes. As you can see, those files are just evenly growing. So if you're putting both files on different physical disks, you can even spread out the I/O between multiple files. The only thing that you have to be aware of is that those files must have or should have the same size, because SQL Server also makes sure that both files are full at the same time. Imagine what happens when the first file is 100 megabytes, second file is 200 megabytes. So just twice the size. In that case, SQL Server has to make one allocation in the first file, two allocations in the second file, one allocation in the first file, two allocations in the second file, to make sure that both files are full at the same time through the proportional fill algorithm. Means in that case you have the double amount of I/O operations in the second file as you have in the first one. So if you have multiple files within a file group, you should always make sure that both files have the same initial size and also the same autograph settings. Let's switch now over to SQL Server Management Studio, where I will show you this behavior with a concrete example. In this simple demo, I want to show you how SQL Server works with multiple files in a file group. In preparation, I create a new database with an additional file group that contains two distinct files. To make things easy, both files are on the same physical drive. In the next step, I mark our previously created file group as the default one. Because of this, every table and every index will be created in that file group instead of the primary file group, even when we don't specify the file group name. In the next step, I create a simple table where every record fits onto one page of 8 kilobytes. Afterwards, we insert 40,000 records into that table. When we look at the file system, you can see now very easily how the round-robin allocation algorithm kicks in and makes an allocation of an extent in every file in a round-robin fashion. After the insertion of the records, every file has now around 160 megabytes. This means that SQL Server spread out the I/O evenly between both files. If you put these files on dedicated physical drives, you would get even better performance out of it. You can also use the dynamic management function system.io virtual file stats to see how the I/O operations are spread evenly between both files. The most important thing to remember here is the fact that all files should have the same initial size and autograph factor. Don't forget that the round-robin allocation algorithm that SQL Server uses make sure that all files become full at the same time through a so-called proportional fill algorithm. If the file sizes have different sizes, then your IOs will not be balanced anymore. That's one of the most common misconfigurations that I see at various SQL Server consulting engagements that I perform. In this SQL Server Quickie, you have seen how you can improve I/O performance by adding multiple files into a file group. If you are going with that approach, it is very important to size all the files to the same size, because the files will become full at the same time. If you don't follow this best practice, the I/O will not be balanced between the individual physical disks because of the proportional fill algorithm. I hope that you have enjoyed the SQL Server Quickie, and I already look forward to talk to you again next month. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.